it is not difficult to understand Israeli posture on this war. She wants to establish a precedent to rules of engagement which says that any aggression against Israeli population will be retaliated with aggression against the civil population of Palestine in a brutal way. That's openly their purpose. They are not acting strategically as someone who is trying to catch an enemy. For example, if it's true that Hamas is hiding in hospitals, it is up to Israel to create military tactics to deal with the enemy on this strategy that they have constructed and they are using. Why? Because that's their nature. They're underestimating the enemy on the resources it has, even because the firepower of Israel is so much greater. They're gonna use things like this to compensate. This is expected. This is war. War is extremely well planned, well perceived in its tactics. And the manner Israel is acting is not at all, well, not to mention responsible, not at all responsible, but strategical. Actually, it is anti-strategical, which means it is strategical, but in the opposite of what it's been said that the objective is to punish the population, to increase the level of fear and awareness of Palestinian terrorism. For example, if Hamas is indeed terrorist, and of course it is for what they've done, that if they do it if the Palestinians do anything against Israel, they're going to be retaliated with extreme violence, and it will be regardless of the Geneva Conventions and the international laws. These are laws of war. They're meant to be obeyed in times of war. They are useless in times of peace. They're laws because the upper hand in war will not be willing to do things on the behalf of what is good for the benefit of the enemy. That's why the laws exist, to establish a common ground on what is the minimal humanitarian thing for a war to be held, because war, in my opinion, my friends, is a crime of war. Peace is the only option. This is the alliance we should be working on. So this is very clear to me what he's doing. The right of Israel to defend itself, well, all nations, this is an universal right. All nations have this right. All citizens have this right, the right to self-defense. So this is not something Israel has because it is a unique situation. She was attacked, therefore she has the right to defend herself. No one is arguing against it. But the fact is that Israel understands the power that it has as a US ally, because Israel is the position of the United States in the Middle East, guaranteed. It's like where the United States is positioned in the Middle East. So now they're using it on their benefit. But they're using this by exploring the resources of Occidental war machine and propaganda. So, for example, if people start to defend that Palestinians are being victim, they are accused of anti-Semitism, which is absurd. Or, for example, of supporting Hamas, supporting terrorism, things like this, that no one did. And many times people even consider the possibility of trying to see things under the Hamas opticon, which is they're resisting somehow to aggression and to the truculence of Israel. Is that true? Yes, this is true. What means not that it's correct, that what they did is correct or justifiable, but that it has been predicted all this time. Perhaps not at this level, but something was to happen, because the pressure Israel is putting on Palestine is too high. So now countries are defending that Israel is a democracy, but it isn't. Democracy only exists if democracy is how the politic is held, is how you run politics. If you have the institutions, but you do things in an authoritarian way, you no longer have a democracy. And as far as I'm concerned, the UN didn't even receive permission to visit the prisons where Palestinians are being kept. If we start to think about it, no, it's not even up to the UN Security Council to decide about this. This is a law. They're not gonna let's have a meeting to decide if we're gonna, obey the law. No, you're gonna make a meeting to know how you're gonna implement. Humanitarian aid is it's like the golden rule of the humanitarian law. The Red Cross they are obligated to receive them in their territory and to protect them, not to attack them. This is at the conventions. There's nothing to discuss about. There's nothing to veto. This was bad faith, hold in the position to support the truculence approach of Israel against Palestine. So what happens? What will happen? Of course, there will be a enormous bad will from part of the Arab countries in what concerns their patience to the Occident. And what is the problem? When things like this happen, the suspicious that it could be done with the bad intention to create hostility, to escalate violence, to create further conflict, can no longer be forgotten. It has to be held into account. So this is a huge problem you have to deal with.